Hey, this is Jamie from Guitarist Magazine, and today we'll be looking at Brunetti's Singleman combo. This is a 16 watt single channel amp, and it takes as its starting point the tones of Fender's tweed amps of the 50s, but it adds to that some very flexible voicing options, a very useful raft of other features including a series effects loop with a manual bypass, spring reverb, a mid boost, and a kind of bunch of other stuff that you'll find useful in the modern era. So without further ado, let's have a look at some of the sounds you can get with it. Okay, so let's look at some of the features on the top panel of this amp. First, you've got two inputs, a high and low input. So we've gone into the high one, which should sound a little bit crunchier and hotter. And the first of the kind of many switches you've got here, which moderate the tone, is the bright switch. So it does exactly what it sounds like it does. So if you listen to the tone without the bright switch engaged, you get kind of quite nice and sort of chimey, and a little bit Fendery. If we put the bright switch on, you get quite a lot more edge and bite there. So this kind of thing is useful for matching the amp to certain guitars. So I'm playing a Telecaster. You probably wouldn't want the bright switch on for that because it's already quite a bright sounding guitar. But you've got the option if you went to something with humbuckers that sounded a little bit muddier, you could spruce it up with that button. Volume control, we've got it set to 12 o'clock here, but take my word for it, it goes plenty loud. Although it is a 16 watt amp, so don't expect loads of headroom, but it's perfectly loud enough for club gigs and so on and so forth. This is an interesting switch here. This is a sort of voicing switch. We've got it set on tweed at the moment, which means that it's meant to be sort of redolent of those the Fender amps of the 50s, which people associate with the name tweed. On that setting, it's nice and sort of graunchy, but still bright and crisp. If you go to the fat setting, however, as if by magic, loads of bass appears. So again, with a Telecaster or something like that, or a Stratocaster on the bridge pickup, something quite thin, you might want to engage that switch just to keep things nice and plump. And the smooth setting, it's quite a subtle difference from the fat setting really, but it just sort of takes again a little bit more of the edge off and adds a little bit more cream to the tone. So in combination with the bright switch, you're probably going to get quite a versatile way of matching the amp sound to the characteristics of your guitar. Okay, so you've got fairly straightforward EQ controls with bass, middle and treble, but you'll notice that the middle control actually has a boost switch associated with it, which is quite useful for adding a little bit of extra grunt to your solos if you want that. So here it is without the boost engaged. Switch it on and here's what you get. Okay, so all of a sudden it just sits forward a little bit in the mix and you've got a little bit more grunt there. Okay, so finally we go on to the spring reverb, which is quite a nice vibey one. It's certainly quite vintage in character. We've got no reverb on at the moment, so here we go again. Dial it up to about halfway. Okay, turn it all the way up and you're in kind of surfy sort of territory. There you go, and there's quite a long tail on it. Sounds pretty nice and evocative, and you certainly won't want for more reverb with this amp. And finally we come to this sort of power attenuation switch, which has been sort of labelled in a bit more with real world terms. We've got quiet, moderate and full. We won't put it on full for the moment, but it's obviously at its fruitiest on the full power setting, though moderate is quite quite serviceable enough for everyday use, and quiet. Again, if you're in a sort of bedroom practice scenario, you probably want it on there. Nice to have that flexibility, and all in all, these extra kind of features that you have over a more traditional amp really give you quite a lot of tone shaping versatility. The reverb is the only one of these things that you can switch on and off with a foot switch, so these other features won't be accessible live during gigs, but as I say, set it up to match your guitar and you probably won't need to fiddle around with it too much on the fly. So all in all, it's really quite a flexible, portable, handy amp to have.